relentless summer sun is a force to be reckoned with, transforming your car's interior into a literal blast furnace the moment you crack open the door. You crank the AC dial to its absolute maximum, bracing for a wave of Arctic relief, but all you get in return is a lukewarm, anemic sigh of disappointment. It is an incredibly frustrating, all too common feeling, the knowledge that your vehicle's cooling system is losing a desperate battle against the heat, a battle it once won with insulting ease. You're left wondering what could have possibly changed, why that bone-chilling cold that once had you reaching to turn it down now barely manages to make the cabin bearable. The truth is, your car is sending you signals, whispers of inefficiency and neglect that, if ignored, will soon become a deafening roar in the form of a four-figure repair bill. The fundamental problem is that most drivers incorrectly assume a decline in AC performance is an immediate death sentence for the compressor or a catastrophic refrigerant leak, resigning themselves to sweaty commutes or an expensive and often unnecessary trip to the dealership. But the reality, the one they don't want you to know, is profoundly different. Before we dive deep into the underlying reasons your AC is failing you, and more importantly, how to rectify them for next to nothing, do me a small favor. If you are ready to reclaim that ice-cold blast you remember and turn your car into a rolling oasis on the hottest of days, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Our entire mission here is to empower you with the kind of knowledge the service departments hope you never, ever learn. Let's begin with one of the most fundamental and yet consistently misunderstood truths about cooling an enclosed space, a principle so basic that it's often dismissed, much to the detriment of your comfort. Number 15. The thermal cascade principle. When the heat becomes unbearable, your primary instinct is to aim the AC vents directly at your face, seeking that concentrated, immediate relief. I get it completely. It's a primal reaction to discomfort. However, in doing this, you are unintentionally sabotaging your AC system's ability to cool the entire cabin efficiently. You are effectively creating a microzone of Arctic cold for your face, while the rest of the car, from the passenger seat to the rear bench, remains a sweltering hellscape. The science behind effective cooling is rooted in circulation, not concentration. Cold air is inherently denser and therefore heavier than warm air. This simple law of physics is your single greatest ally in this fight. Instead of aiming that blast of cold air straight into your eyeballs, which also contributes to drying out your skin and sinuses, you need to adopt a far more intelligent strategy. Aim your side vents directly towards the side windows and your center vents up towards the roof of the car. By directing the cold air upwards, you allow thermodynamics to do the heavy lifting for you. The cold, dense air will naturally descend, blanketing the entire cabin in a cascade of coolness. As it falls, it physically displaces the lighter, hot air upwards, where it can be drawn back into the AC system to be cooled. This process creates a highly efficient convection current, a continuous cooling cycle that distributes the temperature evenly throughout the entire interior. It is the difference between trying to put out a bonfire with a water pistol and using a full sprinkler system. One only affects a single spot, while the other controls the entire environment. This simple, zero-cost adjustment can improve overall cooling efficiency by as much as 15%, allowing the system to reach your desired temperature far more quickly and with less effort, which translates directly into lower fuel consumption and reduced wear and tear on the all-important AC compressor. Number 14. Mastering the recirculation secret weapon. That little button on your dash console, the one with an icon of a car and a looping arrow inside it, is not merely a decorative element. It is your AC's afterburner switch, yet a staggering 90% of drivers use it completely wrong, if they use it at all. The most common and detrimental mistake is to engage it the instant you get into a car that has been baking in the sun. At that moment, the interior temperature can easily exceed 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Hitting the recirculation button immediately is the definition of counterproductive. You will simply be forcing your AC system to recycle that superheated air, like a hamster wheel powered by heat, making it work incredibly hard for minimal progress. The correct strategy requires a calculated two-phase approach. First, when you start the car, ensure the system is set to draw in fresh air from the outside and turn the fan on to high. Simultaneously, open your windows for a minute or two to perform a bulk evacuation of the hottest trapped air. Once you can feel that the air emerging from the vents is noticeably cooler than the ambient air outside, that's your cue to act. Close the windows and then press the recirculation button. By doing this, you are instructing your system to stop its grueling fight against the relentless outdoor heat and to instead focus its efforts on recooling the already partially chilled air inside the cabin. The impact on efficiency is astonishing, with studies showing it can accelerate the cool-down process by up to 30%. The compressor no longer has to struggle to bring 40 degrees Celsius air down to a comfortable temperature. Instead, it's now just bringing 25-degree air down to 20. It's the difference between asking a weightlifter to hit his personal record on every single rep versus allowing him to warm up with lighter weights. The old myth about recirculated air becoming stale is largely unfounded in modern vehicles, which are equipped with cabin air filters designed to remove dust, pollen, and other particulates. You will not suffocate from reusing the air during your commute. What you will do is reach your comfort zone in half the time, saving fuel and prolonging the life of your entire AC system. Number 13. The $10 Reflective Guardian. Often, the most profoundly effective solutions are the simplest ones. What is the single cheapest way to combat the oppressive heat that turns your parked car into a sauna? A windshield sunshade. This humble, often overlooked accessory made of reflective material is, by a massive margin, the best $10 investment you can make for your summer comfort and the long-term health of your vehicle's interior. When you park your car in direct sunlight, the greenhouse effect is brutal. Solar radiation passes through the glass and heats the interior surfaces, especially the dark-colored dashboard, which can reach temperatures hot enough to literally cause second-degree burns. This radiant heat then elevates the cabin temperature to extreme, unbearable levels. A good quality sunshade, particularly the reflective type that looks like it belongs on a spacecraft, can lower that interior temperature by a staggering 20 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This difference is nothing short of monumental. It means that when you get in your car, your AC system doesn't have to start its battle from a blistering 150 degrees, but from a much more manageable 110. You are giving your system an enormous head start, allowing it to cool the car exponentially faster and with significantly less strain on the compressor. Furthermore, the benefit extends far beyond immediate comfort. Constant exposure to intense ultraviolet radiation is the #1 enemy of your car's interior plastics and leather. UV rays break down the polymers, causing the dashboard to crack, fade, and become brittle over time. A sunshade acts as a shield, protecting your investment and keeping the interior looking fresh, which in turn preserves the resale value of your car. It is a $10 investment that saves you hundreds, if not thousands, in potential interior repairs and premature wear on your AC system. Number 12. The active heat evacuation technique. Here is a trick that will cost you nothing but a few seconds of your time and can boost your AC's initial performance by a massive 40%. It is based on the active displacement of air, and it is startlingly effective. Before you even think about turning the AC on, roll down the front passenger's window completely. Then, step outside the car, keep the driver's door open, and swing it open and closed vigorously 5 to 10 times, as if you were fanning a fire. You might get a few strange looks from bystanders in the parking lot, but the physics behind this action is sound and undeniable. Every time you swing the door closed, you are acting as a giant piston, creating a high-pressure zone inside the car that actively forces the superheated, trapped air out through the open passenger window. This method is drastically more effective than simply rolling down all the windows and waiting for the heat to passively dissipate via natural convection. You are physically exchanging the hot interior air for the cooler ambient air in a matter of seconds. By expelling the bulk of that scorching air mass before you even start the engine, you are relieving your AC system of its most difficult task. Instead of having to cool a volume of air from 160 degrees, it can now begin its work on air that is much closer to the outside temperature. This shaves several minutes off the time it takes to cool the car, which not only gets you comfortable faster, but also reduces fuel consumption and system wear. You'll have the last laugh as you settle into a pleasantly cool car while others are still waiting for their AC systems to win the initial uphill battle against the heat. Number 11. The forgotten hero behind behind the glove box. There is a component in your car that serves as the silent guardian of the air you breathe and the efficiency of your AC, and it is more than likely filthier than a mechanic's rag. This is the cabin air filter. This small, unassuming filter, usually located behind the glove compartment, is the first line of defense against the dust, pollen, leaves, insects, and other road debris trying to invade your ventilation system. Over time, it inevitably becomes clogged. A clogged cabin air filter is akin to trying to breathe through a dirty sock. The airflow is dramatically reduced. This means your AC's blower motor has to work much harder to force air through the obstructed filter and into the cabin, resulting in a weak, anemic airflow from your vents. A severely clogged filter can reduce airflow by as much as 30%. It doesn't matter how cold your evaporator gets if the air can't get to you. Most manufacturers recommend replacing it every 12 to 15,000 miles, but if you live in a dusty, high pollen, or polluted area, or frequently park under trees, you should do it more often. The good news is that replacing it is one of the easiest and cheapest maintenance tasks you can perform. It usually requires no tools other than your own 2 hands and about 5 minutes of your time. A new filter costs less than a movie ticket, and the result is immediate. A strong, powerful airflow that carries the cold much more effectively. Furthermore, a clogged and damp filter is the perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria, leading to that musty, old sock smell every time you turn on the fan. Replacing the filter not only improves cooling, but also dramatically improves the quality of the air that you and your passengers breathe. Number 10. The crucial front-end heat exchanger cleans. At the very front of your car, sitting just ahead of the engine's radiator, is a component absolutely vital to your AC system, the condenser. Its job is to radiate the heat that the refrigerant has absorbed from inside your car into the outside air. Think of it as the radiator for your air conditioner. Because of its forwardmost location, it's a magnet for everything the road throws at you: bugs, leaves, dirt, road salt, and other debris. Over time, this buildup of grime coats the delicate aluminum fins of the condenser, acting like an insulating blanket. A clogged condenser cannot release heat efficiently. It's like trying to cool down while wearing a winter coat in Phoenix. The system is forced to operate under much higher pressure, causing the compressor to work overtime, which increases fuel consumption and dramatically elevates the risk of a premature and very expensive failure. The solution is simple: clean it. With the engine completely cooled to avoid burns, use a garden hose with a gentle spray nozzle. Never a high-pressure washer, as you can easily bend the delicate fins, to gently rinse the debris out from the back towards the front if possible, or at an angle from the front. A soft bristled brush can help dislodge stubborn bugs and caked-on dirt. This simple cleaning, performed once or twice a year, can improve cooling efficiency by up to 25%. It is a crucial maintenance step that most people completely ignore. A clean condenser allows your AC system to breathe, reducing the strain on all its components and ensuring it can dissipate heat as effectively as possible, which translates directly into colder air inside your car. Number 9. The counterintuitive fan speed secret. This next tip is going to go against every instinct you have. Once the initial cabin heat has been purged and the air coming from the vents is cold, turn your fan speed down. I know, it sounds completely illogical. How could less airflow result in feeling colder? The answer lies in the science of heat transfer. The component that actually chills the air in your system is the evaporator, a small, cold radiator hidden deep within your dashboard. When the fan is on its highest setting, air is forced through the fins of this evaporator very quickly. This rapid movement doesn't give the air enough contact time to transfer its maximum amount of heat to the evaporator. However, when you reduce the fan speed to a medium or low setting, the air moves more slowly across the evaporator. This increased dwell time allows for a much more thorough heat exchange to occur. The air has more time to surrender its thermal energy, resulting in the air that ultimately exits the vents being several degrees colder. It is like the difference between quickly swiping your hand over an ice cube versus holding your hand on it. The longer the contact, the more cold you feel. The optimal strategy is to use high fan speed for the first few minutes to move a large volume of air and quickly cool down the cabin's surfaces. But once a comfortable base temperature has been reached, dial back the fan speed. You will notice the air emanating from the vents feels denser and noticeably colder, providing a more profound and comfortable cooling experience without the noise and draft of a full-blast fan. Number 8. The hard truth about refrigerant and leaks. There is a pervasive misconception that AC refrigerant is like engine oil and needs to be topped off periodically. This is completely, unequivocally false. Your car's air conditioning system is a sealed, closed loop. In a perfect world, the refrigerant installed at the factory would last the entire lifetime of the vehicle. If your system is low on refrigerant, there is only one possible reason: you have a leak. It does not get used up or consumed. That being said, over time, engine vibrations, temperature cycles, and the simple aging of components can cause very small, slow leaks to develop in seals, O-rings, or hoses. A refrigerant loss of just 10 to 15% can slash your cooling capacity by as much as 40%. It's like trying to run a marathon on one lung. You can use a DIY recharge kit, which costs around $40, to replenish the lost refrigerant and temporarily restore cooling performance. These kits typically come with a gauge to prevent overcharging, which is critical, as too much refrigerant can be just as damaging as too little, causing excessive pressures and potentially destroying your compressor. However, you must understand that this is a temporary fix, a band-aid. The real solution is to find and repair the leak. Ignoring a leak, no matter how small, means you will have to keep recharging the system, and worse, you will be releasing refrigerant into the atmosphere, which is harmful to the environment. Furthermore, along with the refrigerant, the system can also lose the special oil that lubricates the compressor, and a lack of lubrication is the #1 killer of compressors, a repair that can easily exceed $1,000. Number 7. The band that drives it all. Your engine has a long rubber belt that snakes around multiple pulleys, driving crucial accessory components. This is the Serpentine belt. Among its many jobs, one of the most critical is spinning the pulley on your AC compressor. This belt is like the drummer in a rock band. No one pays much attention to it until it stops working, and then the whole show comes to a grinding halt. If the Serpentine belt is worn, cracked, glazed, or loose, it can slip on the compressor pulley. When this happens, the compressor doesn't spin at the required speed to properly pressurize the refrigerant. The result is poor or non-existent cooling performance, often accompanied by a high-pitched squeal, especially when you start the car or turn on the AC. Inspecting the belt is simple. With the engine off, look for cracks on the ribbed side, areas that look shiny or polished, a sign of glazing and loss of grip, or any signs of fraying. A new belt is relatively inexpensive, under $65 in most cases, but the consequences of it failing completely are severe. If the belt snaps, you won't just lose your air conditioning, you'll also lose your power steering and the alternator that charges your battery, leaving you stranded on the side of the road. Proactive maintenance here is paramount. Checking the belt regularly, especially on higher mileage cars, is a 30-second task that can save you thousands of dollars in repairs and the headache of an unexpected breakdown. Number 6. Your system's breathing point. At the base of your windshield, under the plastic grills, lies the fresh air intake for your car's climate control system. It is, in essence, your vehicle's nose, and just like a nose, it can get stuffed up. Leaves, pine needles, dirt, and other debris love to accumulate in this area, known as the cowl. When this intake gets blocked, it severely restricts the amount of air your system can draw in. It's the same principle as a dirty cabin filter, but at the very source of the system. Cleaning this area can improve cabin cool-down speed by up to 15%. But there's a more insidious problem than simple airflow restriction. When organic debris builds up and gets damp from rain, it creates the perfect environment for mold and bacteria to flourish. This is the source of that gym locker smell that often emanates from AC systems. If you notice this odor, a simple cleaning won't be enough. You can spray a dedicated AC disinfectant or even a household disinfectant spray into the intake while the fan is running on low with the windows down. The fan will pull the disinfectant through the entire system, across the evaporator, and help evict the bacterial squatters that are fouling your air. Keeping this area clean not only ensures unrestricted airflow, but also guarantees that the air entering your car is as fresh and clean as possible. Number 5. The saving mistake that costs a fortune. With fuel prices constantly on the rise, it can be tempting to drive with the windows down to save on using the air conditioning. Paradoxically, this attempt at frugality can lead to one of the most expensive failures in the system. The AC system is not like other components that benefit from not being used. In fact, it needs to be operated regularly to stay healthy. The primary reason lies within the rubber seals and O-rings throughout the system. The refrigerant circulating through the system carries a special oil, usually PAG or POE oil, that lubricates these seals, keeping them pliable and swollen, which ensures a tight seal. When the AC system goes unused for long periods, like during the winter, this oil settles in the low points of the system. The seals run dry, shrink, and become brittle. Then, when summer arrives and you fire up the AC again, these desiccated seals are prone to cracking and leaking, allowing the refrigerant to escape. To prevent this, you must run your AC for at least 10 to 15 minutes every single week, even in the dead of winter. This circulates the refrigerant and oil, keeping the seals lubricated and the compressor's internal parts moving freely. Think of it as taking your AC to the gym. Use it, or you will lose it. The pennies you spend on fuel to run the system occasionally are an incredibly cheap insurance policy against replacing dried-out seals, or, even worse, a seized compressor. Repairs that can easily top $1,000. Number 4. The internal shower for peak performance. We've talked about cleaning the condenser and replacing the cabin filter, but what about the very heart of the cooling system, the evaporator? This component, hidden in the depths of your dashboard, is where the real cooling magic happens. However, its cold, damp environment makes it a prime location for the buildup of dirt, dust, pollen, and most troublingly, mold and bacteria. This slimy biofilm that forms on its surface acts as a layer of insulation, impeding efficient heat transfer and forcing your AC to work much harder. It's also the primary source of the dreaded dirty sock syndrome. Fortunately, you don't need to disassemble your entire dashboard to clean it. There are specialized evaporator cleaning foam products designed specifically for this job. Typically, you spray the foam into the system through the cabin filter housing or up through the evaporator's condensate drain tube. Once inside, the foam expands, blanketing all the evaporator's fins, breaking down the grime and biofilm. After a few minutes, the foam liquefies and drains out of the car through the drain tube, carrying all the nasty buildup with it. It's like giving your AC a spa day. The result is a clean, efficient evaporator, free of obstructions and odors, ready to blow Arctic air that would make a penguin jealous. This procedure, performed once a year, can restore cooling performance you didn't even realize you had lost. Number 3. The perfect temperature setting is the coldest one. This is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about how your AC works. Setting your temperature to anything other than the absolute coldest setting is actually making your system work harder and less efficiently. In a typical automotive AC system, the air is always cooled to its lowest possible temperature, usually around 3 to 4 degrees Celsius, just above freezing. When you turn the temperature dial to a warmer setting, say 22 degrees, you are not making the compressor work less. What you are actually doing is telling a set of flaps inside the dashboard, called blend doors, to mix some of that ice-cold air with hot air from the car's heater core. You are essentially forcing the system to cool the air to its maximum potential and then deliberately reheating it before it ever reaches you. You are paying for fuel to chill the air and then paying for more fuel to heat it right back up again. It's energetic madness. The single most efficient way to operate your AC is to always leave the temperature dial on its coldest possible setting. Then, if you feel too cold, control your comfort by adjusting the fan speed, not the temperature. This way, you are using the efficiently produced cold air as it was intended, without wasting energy to reheat it. It's a counterintuitive approach, but it is how automotive AC systems are designed to operate. Trust your system to do its job of cooling, and use the fan to modulate the intensity. Your fuel gauge and your comfort level will both thank you. Number 2. Knowing when to call in the professionals. While there are a tremendous number of things you can do yourself to dramatically improve your AC's performance, there are times when you need the expertise and equipment of a professional. A professional AC service can restore 30 to 50% of lost cooling capacity in some cases by addressing issues you didn't even know existed. A qualified technician can do far more than just top off the system. They will use a recovery machine to evacuate all the old refrigerant and, critically, any moisture that has infiltrated the system, which is poison to the internal components. Then, they will put the system under a deep vacuum for an extended period. This not only boils off any remaining moisture, but also serves as an incredibly accurate leak test. If the system cannot hold a vacuum, there is a leak that must be located and repaired. Only after confirming the system's integrity will they recharge it with the precise manufacturer-specified amount of refrigerant and oil measured by weight, something impossible to do accurately with a DIY can. They can also diagnose more complex issues like a failing compressor clutch, a clogged expansion valve, or a faulty pressure switch before they turn into wallet-emptying disasters. Think of it as preventative medicine for your air conditioner. A little money spent now on a professional service can save you a tremendous amount of tears and cash down the road. And now, the number one secret, the one that ties everything else together and can transform your summer driving experience from a disappointment into a polar paradise. Number 1. The invisible barrier against the sun. This is the single most effective, long-term upgrade you can make for your AC's performance: professional window tinting. High-quality window tint is like giving your car a built-in set of sunglasses that work 24/7. Modern window films, especially ceramic-based tints, are technological marvels. They can block up to 60% of total solar heat, infrared energy, and over 99% of harmful UV rays without significantly impacting visibility. This means that when your car is parked, heat buildup is dramatically reduced. A tinted car can stay 10 to 15 degrees cooler than a non-tinted car under the same conditions. This is a massive head start for your AC system, which doesn't have to fight a battle against solar radiation as if it's fighting the sun itself, but the benefits don't stop when you're parked. While driving, the tint continuously reduces the heat load entering the cabin, allowing the AC system to maintain a comfortable temperature with far less effort. You can often use a lower fan speed, and the compressor will not have to cycle on as frequently, which translates directly into better fuel economy and a longer lifespan for the components. Of course, ensure you adhere to local laws regarding tint percentages to avoid any legal trouble. But when done right, window tinting is the single best long-term investment you can make for AC performance, short of replacing the entire system. It's one of those rare upgrades that improves both function and form, paying dividends in comfort and efficiency for years to come.